Now, the ongoing conflict in Iran has already put federal agencies on heightened alert, hoping to prevent any retaliatory events in the U.S. And to help us better understand the concerns that exist here in the nation's capital, we have Keith Wojcik from FTI Consulting. He is a former Homeland Security advisor and Secret Service agent on the presidential detail. Keith, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Susan. Appreciate it.
So, Keith, both the FBI and Homeland Security, they are on these heightened alerts for potential U.S.-based attacks. What does that mean for all of us who live here in the DMV? Does it feel like we have a target on our backs, or is that a little too fearful at this moment?
You know, that's a very good point. And when you're living here, of course, that feels that way. But heightened alert doesn't mean there's a known imminent threat. It means that the federal agencies are increasing monitoring, intelligence coordination with private and local governments, and protective positioning. So as we are a very symbolic region, given the concentration of federal buildings, embassies, different landmarks that are right here, defense infrastructure, it translates into increased visibility and security around the government facilities, you have transit hubs and major landmarks. The message isn't really panic, it's for awareness.
Okay, so we should all be alert, no situational awareness at this point if we go to any of these federal buildings. Should we be concerned, though, if we're traveling abroad? We have spring break coming up. We have so many different events. Is it specific to the Middle East countries, or could it be popular tourist-heavy European countries as well, or anywhere that Americans like to visit?
Yeah, that's another good point, right? With everything that's coming up, but risk isn't uniform. The highest concern right now is parts of the Middle East. There are 22 different countries that are number 4 do not travel to. This is because of the active instability that's going on there. What travelers need to pay closest attention to is the State Department advisories. Now, in Europe, risk profile is a little different. Major European cities have robust security, but during geopolitical tensions, they see protests, they see isolated incidents tied to different broader events. So it's less about avoiding Europe altogether and more about monitoring advisories, understanding and maybe avoiding demonstrations, and staying very flexible with your plan and with any travel plans. Now, Homeland Security does have this STEP program, the Smart Travel Enrollment Program. That's a phenomenal thing to do, and everyone should do that if they do travel internationally. Yeah,
I did tell my friends who were overseas to make sure they did that when they were in Puerto Vallarta when the attack happened there. Let's talk about the worrisome. How worrisome is it that the Department of Homeland Security is partially shut down as Congress is at an impasse on passing a budget over immigration reform? So an agency that's supposed to prevent any kind of national security risk for us is currently not fully operational.
Again, fantastic point. You know, it's a partial shutdown. It's concerning, especially from an operational standpoint. But core national security and protective functions will continue as normal. Agencies like TSA, Customs and Border Control, Secret Service, they're all responsible teams that are going to be considered essential services. So the biggest concern isn't that the protections stop. They won't, right? It's about the strain over time, the staffing fatigue, the delay in intelligence collection and analysis, slower administrative coordination, especially as the shutdown goes on. So in the immediate term, travelers should not expect airports suddenly to become unsafe, but maybe disruption that could affect efficiency, meaning waiting longer in lines and possible flight cancellations. This is a moment really for vigilance and not fear. You know, heightened alert with everything, even with the partial shutdown, means agencies are leaning forward. They're trying to do better. But again, there are some caveats to that as we go on.
All right, so we have to be vigilant and just be aware that there are international events happening all around us. Keith Wojcik, thank you so much from FTI Consulting for giving us that insight and reminding us not to be fearful, but just to be cautious.
Thank you very much.